Hey yogis, today we're going to do a feel-good flow. This is just the ultimate practice. For those days when you want to move, you want to get on your mat, you want to kind of dig out and stir up any stagnant energy, but you're also maybe feeling a little delicate, a little mellow, a little like you're just needing some gentle care and some self-love, and that's what this practice is all about. We're going to move and we're going to flow because in order to really enjoy a lot of postures, we want the body to be warm, but we're going to be staying pretty much on the very close to the ground, very low to the ground, very stable, no balancing today, pretty much no standing postures, just allowing ourselves to enjoy the more lunar energy of a yoga practice. And it's really important to remember that yoga is not just exercise, that it's also moving meditation. And these kinds of practices are really, really good for not just our bodies, but these are what really help us connect to our spirit and nourish ourselves. So we're going to just need maybe 2 blocks today. If you like to have a pillow to work as a bolster for some poses, you're welcome to grab one. But again, we're going to stay pretty mellow. So let's begin on our backs. Any position that feels comfortable for you. I'm going to come into constructive rest. So knees together, feet wide, hands to hip points. But you're welcome to just take Shavasana. And just take a moment with the eyes open to ground yourself to your surroundings. So even if you're in your own home, you know where you are, you've seen your space a million times. With eyes open, just look around, notice your surroundings. This helps to orient yourself and where you are in space. And then once you feel comfortable, allowing the eyes to close. And start to take some deep breaths. Just letting them feel good, almost like each inhale is a massage. Each one getting deeper, maybe adding a brief pause at the top. Feeling your ribs expand in every direction. Maybe you yawn. Maybe you sigh. Maybe you make a sound. Then take a few moments here to guide your awareness to your physical body. Just noticing how you're feeling right now on your mat. Noticing your energy. Chances are, if you selected this practice, then you've already done that. You've already checked in with yourself and with what you need for the day. And you said, I need a practice that's just going to feel good. So noticing what areas of the body are really needing that feel-good energy. I like to start by noticing the more obvious areas, the joints like the ankles, the knees, the hips, the shoulders, and the neck. And then now is the time I invite you to set an intention for your practice. It can be as simple as, I just want to move. I just want to feel good. I just want to breathe. I just want to get in tune with my body. Or maybe it's a little deeper than that for you today. And then once you've set that intention, Bring both hands to your heart, one hand on top of the other. Take a smooth breath in. Nice big sigh. Good. Bring your arms to a cactus, maybe a little bit more up and overhead. And just allow the knees to windshield wiper side to side, stepping the feet in if you haven't already. Going nice and slow. While this video is being filmed, I don't know when you are practicing it, but we are still kind of in the heat of the pandemic right now. So something I've been noticing is how restricted we feel with our breath lately. Breath feels like a crime. Breath feels like a sin. Breath feels like something we can't do right now because it's the way that this very contagious disease is being spread. But now you're home, you're practicing at home in your space. Emphasize your breath today. Let's feel extra grateful for our breath. Enjoying some really nice, deep, rich, fulfilling inhales and some really slow and steady exhales, allowing them to be really feel good as they flow out the mouth or through the nose. Maybe adding some sound. Good. Bring the knees back up through center. Draw the knees into the chest and give yourself a nice tight hug. A little rock side to side. And then keep the right leg pulled in. Extend the left leg long onto the mat. Let it rest there. Deeply flex that right leg. So pull it in tight to the outside of the rib cage. Maybe start to circle the ankle and wiggle the toes around. Good. Tee the right arm. Use the left hand to pull the leg across the body, coming into a twist. Maybe completing the twist with the neck. Gaze over to the right. Good. Inhale back up through center. Stamp the left foot down. Cross the right ankle over the left thigh. Good. Take a moment without using your hands. Push your right knee forward so you're engaging those outer hip muscles. Option to stay here or start to draw that left thigh in. Maybe hands interlaced behind the thigh or the shin bone. Good. A couple breaths here. We're still active in that right thigh, so still pushing it forward. Maybe a little rock side to side. I find that just the tiniest shift of my legs to the left, I get a super, super good stretch through my outer hip. Good. Come back to center. Lower both feet down to the mat. Palms down. Inhale, lift the hips. Just a small bridge pose, really small. Anchoring down through your heels. Little hug of the glutes together as you lift the hips. Good. Inhale. Exhale, lower down. Pull both knees into your chest. Give yourself a hug. And then switch sides. Extend the right leg long. Left thigh pulls into the chest. Or more so to the side of the ribs. Few breaths. Maybe circling the ankle and the toes. I like to really anchor down that right leg as well. It helps me to feel a stretch through the front of the right thigh. And then moving towards that twist, left arm to a T, pull that right thigh across the body. Good. Inhale, coming back up through center. Stamp the right foot down, cross the left ankle. Again, a moment with no hands. Push your left knee forward to engage those outer hip flexor muscles. Option to stay here, not hip flexor muscles, outer hip rotator muscles. Pause here or pull the thigh in. I'm filming this right after filming my Super Sweat Part 2 video, so I've got very intense yoga brain right now. And again, maybe a little movement, a little rock side to side. The moment I bring my legs a little to the right, I find this incredibly juicy spot on that left outer hip. Good. Still pushing that left knee just slightly forward. A little bit of activation. One more breath. And then exhale through center, feet lower down. Heels under the knees, press down through the hands. Inhale, lift the hips, baby bridge pose, nice and small. Good, a little press down through the elbows, allowing the heart to lift. Inhale. Exhale, lower the hips down. Good. Pull the knees in, hands behind the thighs, rock up and down the length of your spine a few times. Some people hate doing this. If you hate doing it, just roll over to one side, press your way up. I could literally do this for 10 minutes. It feels really good for my back. And then come to a comfortable seat. Sitting crisscross, maybe propping yourself up onto a bolster or a block if you have one. Push your shin bones slightly forward. So rather than having your heels really tight to the pelvis, almost as if you're doing fire log pose, which you're welcome to take if you're open enough in the hips where you are comfortable to sit in this pose, you can sit in this pose. I am not so comfortable sitting there. So instead, I'm taking a bit of a more squared Sukhasana pose. Good. From here, bring your right hand, so I'm mirroring you, right hand into this tray. In my classes, I've been calling it like you've got a little plate of cake on your hand. And then take your left arm to a T, turn your thumb down to internally rotate the arm, bring it behind you, find your bicep. And I'll give a modification if you cannot find your bicep. What this does is it's locking your left humerus bone in your upper arm down so that when you stretch your neck and you tilt your head to the right, you can get a little bit more deep into the neck muscles. Those of you who can't find your bicep, that's totally okay. What you'll do is you'll take that right hand and find that wrist instead, and you'll do it just like this, holding the wrist, pulling that arm to the side and kind of pushing the arm against your back. So you're just basically locking that left shoulder down. Good. And you can play here with the chin direction, tilting the head around, finding a really tight spot. And push that little tray of cake so that right hand forward, just a touch. So you're really locking that left shoulder down. Good, one more breath. And then exhale, slowly release. Woo, inhale. Arms reach up. Exhale, other side. So left hand to your tray, right hand comes behind you, either finding the bicep or using that left hand to lock down the right arm. Good. Draw that right shoulder down so your shoulders stay square. You're not kind of tilting off to the side. And then tilt your head to the left. You know what to do. A few breaths here, enjoying this stretch through the shoulder and the neck. Bringing that little tray of cake forward. Good. One more breath. Exhale, bring the chin back up to parallel. Release the arms. Woo. Inhale, nice and slow. Bring the palms to face up. Reach the arms up and overhead. Exhale, right hand next to right hip. Arch up and over with the side body. Good. Try and straighten that top arm out. Maybe that forearm of that right arm starts to lower, maybe not. Keeping that left glute planted down. Good. And then a few moments of exploration, either stillness or play with rotating the heart open, looking up, and then rotating the heart down and really reaching to a diagonal with that left arm. Just kind of playing with stretching different areas of the back. Here you're getting into the psoas, the QLs, the back body fascia that connects to your pelvis and your lats. Good. On your next breath in, use that left arm to help you come back up. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, other side, up and over. Good. Few breaths here. Maybe gradually lowering that left elbow down. And a little bit of movement if that feels right for you. Good. Inhale, push down, reach up. Exhale, twisting to the right. Right fingertips land behind you. Inhale, sitting up tall, chin away from the chest. Exhale, twist. Good. One more breath. Inhale. Twist, exhale. Inhale, back through center. Reach the arms up. Other side. Inhale, sitting up nice and tall. Exhale, twist. One more breath in. Out. Good. Inhale, back through center. Arms reach up. Exhale, hands down by your side. Roll over your knees. Find a tabletop. Good. Knees stacked under your hips. Hands under your shoulders or wider. Inhale, arch the spine. Cow pose. Exhale, chin to chest for cat. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Let's give ourselves permission sometime to just move organically. There's no right or wrong way to move here. If you'd like to hold a few breaths in a certain position that feels really good, or just flow, move a little erratically or seemingly erratically, just letting your intuition take over. Listening to your body. Good. Inhale, find neutral table. Exhale, hands big, step forward, melt the chest, puppy pose. One of my favorite poses. It just feels so good. Hips are still over the knees. So your hips aren't on your heels. Your hips are stacked over your knees still. Either bringing your forehead or maybe your chin to the mat. Big stretch through the fingers. Now, if you feel any pinching in the shoulders, it's not normal. It's common, but it's not what you want to be happening. It's not something to ignore. It's not tightness in the shoulder. It usually means that your bursa in your shoulder is being smushed, which is not comfortable. So if you feel pinching in the shoulders, bring your hands wide. Wide as your mat or wider. Good. Take an inhale and an exhale. Inhale, push down through the hands, rise up, roll back up to a tabletop. Good. Shift your hips back over your heels, knees wide, child's pose. Arms still stretching forward.
So even though we're in a resting posture, we're still reaching through those fingers. We're still working on opening up the arms, the shoulders, the lats, the chest. See if you can allow the muscles surrounding the neck to be soft. Good. Inhale, roll yourself up so that you're kneeling. You're sitting on your heels. Bring your knees together. Interlace your hands behind your low back. Draw your shoulder blades together behind you and then pull your shoulders down. Keep your elbows slightly bent. Keeping this, try and move your forearms away from your butt. Good. Take an inhale. Exhale. Try and keep that energy like you're trying to pull your arms apart as you fold. Good. Big inhale. Exhale. Release the hands down. Inhale, arms reach forward. Exhale, look forward. Pull yourself onto your belly. Now, reminder that I have a microphone strapped to me, so I'm not going to be able to bring myself flat down. So do as I say, not as I do. Bring your forehead down to the mat. Hands back towards your feet. Good. Anchor your feet down. Pull your knees up your kneecaps. Reach through your palms. Take an inhale. Lift your head, chest, and hands. Coming into a half locust. So your feet are still down. They're your anchor here. We're just focusing a little bit more on the upper back and the arms currently, so leave the legs down. So reach through your fingers like you're trying to pull your shoulders out of their sockets, like you're trying to reach for your feet. And then draw your pinky fingers together and then lift your hands up. Good, so there's a lot of energy going on in the upper back. Feels intense now, but this is a really good way to get that kind of self-massage sensation when you release. Take an inhale. Exhale, lower down. Turn one cheek to the mat. Good. Often tension in the upper back stems from our shoulders and our upper back to need to be mobilized. So often what can feel like a lot of work at the time is actually one of the best ways to feel like you've just had a massage or to feel that really feel good sensation after a practice. So let's do locust one more time with the feet down just to keep it a little bit more gentle. Inhale, lift the head, chest, and hands. Reach through your fingers, again, like you're trying to unplug your arms from the shoulders. Pinky fingers move towards one another and then lift the hands high. Good, so big extension in the shoulder girdle. This is also a really good way if you feel chronic pinching in the shoulder. These are the actions you want to take. These are the movements you want to take to try and undo that, essentially. It's a really good way to help with impingement. Take an inhale. Exhale, stack the hands under the forehead, forward fold. Good. Inhale, lift up to a Sphinx pose. Elbows underneath the shoulders, palms pressing down. Good. Now, if you press down through just the palms, you're losing a lot of the feel-good aspect of this posture. So pressing through the hands, but also pressing through the elbows, like you're trying to get taller in the spine. Draw your navel upward so you're not pushing your belly down, you're drawing your belly up. And then push down through the fingertips and pull your fingertips towards your feet, towards the back of the mat. So this is a relatively active posture, at least how we're treating it right now. And the reason we're doing some back bending here to start is, again, because often things that can feel a little uncomfortable are the things that actually make us feel really, really good after. And also when you're doing forward folds, which is generally what most feel-good practices are, is they're just forward fold after forward fold, doing that many forward folds can actually be harmful to the body over time through repetition. If we only do practices that just focus on forward folds, then we're going to have issues. So I'm trying to create balance in this practice between some back bends, some movements that are going to help tone up the back body, and movements that are also going to just feel very pleasant at the time that we're doing them. Good. Let's take one more breath in. Exhale, lower down. Hands slide underneath the elbows, tuck the toes. Inhale, press up, pushing to a child's pose. Good. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, roll up tabletop. Exhale, toes tuck, downward facing dog. Good. Few breaths. First downward dog of this practice, maybe of your day. Pedaling out the legs, letting the hips go side to side, giving the head a shake, just letting this down dog feel good. Good. From your downward dog, inhale, lift your right leg. Exhale, as you pass it through, bring your knee to your nose, drop your left knee down, step your foot forward. So that's a really good modification to have for those who struggle with bringing their foot forward in one step. Good. Inhale, bring your arms up, bringing yourself into a crescent lunge. Exhale, hands to heart. Good. Take a smooth breath in, pushing down through the feet, thinking about getting taller. Exhale, keep this activity you have in the legs and just let your hips go forward without dumping in the low back. Good. Pushing down through your front heel and pulling back with your front heel. So your front hamstring is engaging, your back glute is engaging, protecting your low back from any instability. Good. And we're just taking a couple little poses low to the ground just to kind of get warm, just to get into the body. Take an inhale. Exhale, interlace the hands behind the back. Same thing we did before. Shoulders squeeze back, pull the knuckles down, keep the elbows bent, and then pull the knuckles away from your butt. Good. Option to stay just like this, or on your next inhale, you can tag on a little bit of a back bend. Good. Stay for the breath out. Inhale. Exhale. Hands plant down. Step back to downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts up, doesn't have to go high. Exhale, as your knee comes to your nose, drop the right knee down, step the left foot forward. Inhale, arms up, think about getting long, push the floor away. Exhale, hands to heart. Good, push down through the front heel and the back toes and magnetize them together. Good, inhale. Exhale, just that subtle shift forward of the hip. So you're getting deep into that right hip flexor as it's being strengthened. Take a smooth inhale. Exhale, interlace the hands behind the back. Feet are still turned on, squeezing together for stabilization here. Shoulders back and down. Keep the elbows bent. Move the knuckles away from the butt. Good. Stay here if this is enough, or maybe add a little bit of a back bend. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Hands plant down. Step back to down dog. Exhale. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, same way we did before, step it through. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, coming into cow face arms. So right arm is going to reach up, shoulder blade is going to lift, and you're going to bring that right hand behind your neck or your upper back. Keep your chin lifted. Then that left arm is going to come to a T. Thumb turns down, internally rotate, bring it behind you. Good. Now for today, don't grab your fingertips, don't grab your shirt. Bring your hands to knuckles. Push your knuckles into your body. And then imagine that you have a strap and try and pull your hands apart from each other. Good. So you're active in this posture, strengthening the muscles in their end range. Good. Inhale. Exhale. Slowly release. Hands plant. Step back. Downward facing dog. Good. Take an inhale. Lift the left leg. Exhale. Bring it forward. Inhale. Arms up. Exhale. Same thing. Other side. Left arm reaches up and comes behind you. Active range of motion here. Right arm comes up the low back. Bring your hands into fists. Push your fists into your back body and then try and pull your fists apart. So top left hand is pulling up, right hand is pulling down. Just a touch, just a little bit. A little bit of activity here. Good. Squeeze your feet together. Inhale. Exhale. Release. Plant the hands. Downward dog. Good. Again, we're just doing some subtle movements here to get warm, get integrated. Inhale, stretch your right leg up high. Exhale, step it forward, same way. Drop the back knee down. Good. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, add a small back bend, or small for you. Just allowing it to feel good. Often back bends can feel like a punishment. I know some people think back bends are a punishment. If hands cactus is too much, you can always bring hands to hips, and that can feel a little bit more grounding as you push, or not push, but as you kind of stabilize the pelvis. You're kind of holding it in place, freeing the heart. Good. Inhale, coming back up. Exhale, hands plant, downward dog. Inhale, left leg. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, back bend, either with cactus or hands to hips. Again, letting it feel good. Don't let this back bend feel like a punishment. Let it feel fantastic. Shoulder blades squeezing together, elbows squeezing together. Feet are still pushing down through the mat like you're trying to push your floor away from you, and feet are squeezing towards one another. Take an inhale. Exhale. Hands plant down, downward dog. Again, just offsetting some of the folding we're going to do soon with some back body work. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, bend your front knee, step it forward. Good. Inhale, arms take you up. Exhale, fingertips plant to the mat or to blocks. Even though I'm pretty flexible, I actually really like using blocks here. Just makes me feel steady and grounded. Front foot flexes as your hips pull over your back knee. Now we're all proportioned differently. So for me, when I go from my lunge to my front leg, I end up way back here. So if you're doing the same, wiggle the front foot forward enough to where your back hip is stacked over your back knee. Pull your toes back. Let's get the bonus stretch through the calf muscle while we're here. Inhale, push through your mat or your blocks. Pull your heart forward. Micro bend your front knee. Push down through your front heel. Pull your front heel back. And then refold, re-straightening the leg as much as you can. So again, we're just bringing a little bit of an active range of motion here. Just because this is a feel-good flow, it doesn't mean we're gonna stretch passively, because you can still get a great stretch. You can still feel a lot of feedback in the body when you keep that muscle activated, and it's better for you in the long term. Not that there's anything wrong with passive stretching, but we do that so much that now is our time to spend some time in these more stretchy poses that I know I don't teach very often, because I tend to teach more of a sweaty kind of flow generally. So we don't end up in these poses very often in my classes, at least not until the end. And usually at the end, I'm like, let's just be passive here. But good, one more breath. Exhale. Let's bring some movement. Bend your front knee over your front ankle. Let your hips be heavy and forward. Inhale. A little squeeze of the shoulder blades. Exhale. Hips go back. Flex the front foot and fold, half splits. Inhale. Bend the front knee. Little arch of the spine. Shoulder blades back. Exhale. Fold. Inhale. Exhale. Slow breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Good. On this last one, inhale. Exhale. Bring the palms down. Lift the hips. Step back. Downward dog. Good. Inhale. Left leg lifts. Exhale. Drop the back knee and step it forward. Inhale. Lunge. Exhale. Fingertips come down. Mat or block. Adjust your stance as needed. Flex the front foot. Inhale, halfway lift. I almost said hoof. Bend your front knee, push down through your front heel. Drag your front heel back. Exhale, fold as you start to straighten the front leg a touch more. You can keep that micro bend. Good. Try and keep your heart long. So rather than letting the head drop, rather than rounding down, which is going to pull a lot of tension into the neck, into the upper back, it's actually a little bit more beneficial to keep your upper back and the back of your neck engaged here. I actually feel like when I do that, I can breathe easier, I can think easier. I think we often think when we're doing stretches, we should just relax into it, but a little bit of muscular activity can keep our energy upwards a bit more and keep us from moving tension from one area of the body directly into the other, which frequently happens with the neck. Good. One more breath in. And then on your exhale, bend your front knee over your front ankle, sink your hips low. Inhale, arms take you up into fingertips down. Inhale, arch the spine. There we go. Shoulder blades back. If you want to reach the arms up, you can. Exhale, sink it back. Inhale, through lunge. Don't worry about alignment too much here. We're just mobilizing the hips and the spine. Exhale, refold. So you're switching between a forward fold and a back bend. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Hands plant. Step to your downward facing dog. Good. Take a breath in your down dog. Inhale, bring your gaze forward, bend your knees, step, walk, or hop to the top of your mat. On your inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Good. Inhale, bend your knees, hands to hips, push down through the floor to come all the way up to stand. Bring your feet mat width distance apart, heels in, toes out. I'm going to turn to face you, but you can stay facing forward. Hands to prayer, inhale. Exhale, Malasana. Now this is the pose where right now you're either going yay or what the fuck, I thought this was a feel-good class. Totally understand. This is not everyone's cup of tea. For many people, this pose is amazing and feels fantastic. For other people, not so much. So whatever the case is for you, this pose is good for your body. No matter where you are in this pose, it's good for your body. So maybe bring some props underneath you. You can even, as if you're a little bit higher or a bit higher, you can even slide a chair or your couch underneath you and just work on making this shape in some capacity. We won't be here too long though, just a couple breaths, just to kind of get into these adductor muscles or inner thighs. Good. Inhale. And then on your exhale, bring your fingertips down. Push the mat away, straighten the legs. Good. Hands to hips. Bend the knees, push down, rise all the way up. Good. Turn to the long edge of your mat, so meeting me in the long edge of your mat, and bring your feet wide, wide, wide. Toes in, heels out, basically just meaning the feet are parallel, but it feels like you're pigeon toeing. Softness in the knees, hands to hips, and hinge from the hip joint. Try and keep the spine long as you fold, coming into Prasarita, forward fold, wide leg forward fold. Good. Once you arrive, feel free to widen the stance, narrow the stance. If you feel like you're a million miles away from the mat, bring your stance really wide. If your head touches the ground pretty much immediately, then maybe narrow your stance. Make it a little bit more challenging for yourself. Rock your weight forward into your toes. Push down through the knife edges of your feet like you're trying to tear your mat in half. And just relax the head. Good. So the legs, again, are still slightly active here as they're being stretched. But the upper body just totally hangs. And the more you draw your weight forward, the more of a sense of pulling and gravity you're going to get on your head and neck. And it will feel so good. And we'll be here for a few more breaths. Option to halfway lift, and you can bend one knee, getting deep into almost a skandasana into your inner thighs. If you'd like to work on center splits, you can widen your stance until you feel your center splits being worked. You can interlace your hands behind your back and work chest expansion. Whatever you want to do, let's take about 5 breaths of just independent movement and some quiet. Okay, let's take one more breath here. Good. Inhale and center, halfway lift your body. Push down through your feet, hands to hips, rise all the way up, exhale. Good. Step back to the front of your mat. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands to your hips. Hands to more of the SI joint, so rather than hands on the hips like you're talking to a friend, hands kind of behind your back. Fingertips up or down, whatever feels best for you. Inhale, shoulder blades back, lift the heart. Little, just tiny back bend. Just let it feel good here. We just spent a good amount of time in a forward fold. So just to offset that, shoulder blades together, a little anchoring of the pelvis. Take an inhale. Exhale, rise back up and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands plant, step back to downward facing dog. Good. From downward dog, drop down to the knees and come to your seat. I think I have students who would kill me if we didn't do some version of pigeon pose in a feel-good class, because I feel like my students are addicted to this pose, which I don't blame them. It does feel amazing. But the amount of requests I get for pigeon is just delightful. So we're going to take a really universally friendly version of this pose. Many of you know it. I taught it in Super Sweat. I've been teaching it in my outdoor classes. So you're going to sit in a 90-90 position, hip in line with knee, knee in line with heel. Back leg, same thing. Left knee in front of hip, heel in front of knee. So 90-90. Take a couple seconds to first sit your weight back into that left glute so you're feeling an internal rotation there. Good. Not really a motion we do too much in yoga. We do a lot of external rotation in yoga. So those who are really, really able, who are really, really good at internal rotation sometimes feel left out because we're usually not as good at external rotation. Good. And then lean your weight forward so much to where your knee and your ankle are both flat on the mat. So that's going to ensure that this entire hip stretch is coming from the femur in the hip socket and not from the knee. So this is a great version for people with knee issues. Turn your chest forward and then you lower down. You can lower blocks, one forearm, and you can kind of just hang out here tilted to the left, or both forearms down. Now, like I've said, it's never a bad idea to bring a little bit of activation. And those of you who are really proficient in your outer hips, in hip opening, you might be looking for more feedback in these poses. And so when you go deeper, 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 it's not necessarily bad to be really mobile and really flexible in outer hip rotation, but you also don't want to bring undue amount of stress and mobility to the piriformis, which can cause issues with the SI joint over time. You're not going to hurt yourself if you do a passive pigeon every once in a while. But if you do that all the time, let's give ourselves a little bit more feedback here by pushing your front knee down, like 15%, just enough to where you're getting some feedback. And then option to stay here. Remember, heart is pulling forward. If you are feeling tired in the neck, then bring something to support the head so that the entire weight of your 20-pound melon isn't stressing the neck and shoulders. Try and keep your ears in line with your shoulders. That's usually a good guide for most poses. Those of you who, again, want more feedback, start to bring that left leg straight. It can be at an angle, doesn't need to go directly behind you, but straighten it until you feel a little bit more feedback in that front hip. Remember to keep pressing that front knee down just slightly. I promise I'll talk less on the other side. Good. Remember the ears with the shoulders. We want to remember that through the day, our head is forward so much, and so let's work on bringing a little bit of tone back to the neck, which will really help relieve tension in the neck, in the scalenes, and the levator scapula, and the traps, which all become super inflamed from having the head forward all day. Good. Inhale, rise up. If your back leg is bent, straighten, bend it again. Lift up to the fingers and the hands. Lean into your right hip. Swing that leg forward. Now that right hip may be feeling some things. We were there a little long. Bring your feet in front of you. Just windshield wiper side to side. But that's my favorite way to do pigeon. I feel the stretch. I get a lot more feedback there than I do in the other version. I feel like there's a lot less technicalities to it to worry about. I don't have to worry about my knee. I just feel like it's a very harmonious version. So let's do the same thing. 90-90. I like to just, you can see, I like to actually physically move myself to be lined up with the left side of the mat. Good. Set up. Couple moments. Sit your weight into that right hip. Even if it doesn't touch all the way down, that's okay. Good. And then inhale. Lean forward, 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 forward until that knee comes down. Stay or go to your low spot. Good. Remember, upper back is awake. Shoulder blades together. A little lift of the heart, a little lift of the head. Or if you want a more restorative version, bring a block or something to rest your head on so that you're not stressing the neck muscles. Press down through the front knee, small amount, just a small amount to try and maintain through this posture. And then after a few more breaths, you can straighten that back leg, and I promised I'd be quieter on this side, so I'm going to stop talking. One more breath here. Good. Slowly begin to rise. Lean to the left. Swing your right leg forward. Again, plant the feet. Windshield wipers side to side. Good. We're going to head on to our backs, but first take your blocks. Have one nearby. If you only have one, that's okay. But have one near the back of your mat. And then your other one, you're going to bring onto the low or medium setting right in front of your pelvis. I like the medium setting. We're going to take Supta Baddha Konasana, which is reclined butterfly pose with our feet on a block. This is my favorite way to do this pose. And you may have to adjust the closeness of the block. I find the easiest way to adjust is to not sit up and redo it, but to just inch your body forward or back. Shoulder blades tuck under the chest and palms face up. Oops. Okay. And then what this does, or at least what I find for me, is that by bringing the feet up, it puts, again, a lot less stress on my knees, and I feel like this stretch is more balanced. Because so many of us don't have full 180-degree turnout in this position, spending time in this pose with feet on the ground can put a lot of pressure on the low back. So I have found through playing that having my feet elevated brings, again, kind of like in pigeon, my shin bone has a little bit more of a chance. My shin bone is in line with the knees a little bit higher, and it feels more harmonious and balanced. The distribution of pressure and sensation feels more distributed evenly. And then hands wherever's comfortable. Hands to hip points can feel nice, or palms up long by your side. I really like hands to inner thighs, just giving a little bit of a extra downward motion. Okay, one more breath here. Bring your hands to the outside of your thighs and close the legs together like a book. Nice and slow. Good. I like to just use my feet and remove my block. Good. Bring the feet down. Grab your second block, or the block that you just removed. Push down through the feet, lift the low back, and slide that block on the medium setting underneath your sacrum. So not underneath your glutes, not in your low back, but right on that SI joint where the dimples of the back would be. Feeling this amazing stretch through the low back. And we'll take a few breaths here. Let's take one more breath. Lift the heels up. Push down through your balls of the feet. Lift the hips. Remove the block. Coming all the way down. Very good. Good. Keep your left foot planted, but extend your right leg so that the sole of your foot is up to the ceiling. Interlace your hands behind your thigh, knee, shin bone, or maybe peace fingers to big toe. We'll just take a few moments in a passive hamstring opener. And because we're doing this passively, you can circle the foot around, play with pointing and flexing, just feeling different sensations. If you want to add movement, if you want to open the leg to the right or, do anything that feels right, feel free. We'll be here just a couple breaths. Good, and then bend the right knee, lower the right foot down. Other side, left leg stretches up. Interlace the hands. You can always use a strap too, but this is just, I find, just the gentlest, easiest version. Just kind of letting gravity and the weight of your arms do the work. Good, one more breath. And exhale, slowly lower the foot down. Good, bring your arms to a T or cactus shape. Push down through the feet, lift the hips, and move your hips to the left. Drop your knees to the right. I have a mic pack, so my knees aren't going to go all the way over, but supine twist. Maybe gaze to the left. Inhale, coming back up through center. Switching directions, hips move to the right as your knees fall to the left. Inhale, coming back up through center. Exhale, thighs to belly. Couple breaths, giving yourself a hug or taking a happy baby. Whichever spine neutralizer feels best for you. And then wherever you are, gradually begin to unfold. Setting yourself up for a supportive rest. Whether it's in constructive rest with the legs or extending them long, or maybe bringing a pillow or bolster underneath the knees. Settling in. Let's take one final breath together before our rest. Inhale. Exhale. I'll wake you when it's time.
only if you feel ready to come back to the body. Begin to draw your awareness back to the sound of my voice, to any sounds going on around you, to your breath, to your body, bringing subtle movements back. And then when you feel ready, taking a big stretch, inhale. And then rolling over with the eyes closed onto your favorite side. Pausing here in fetal position, noticing what shifts have occurred in your mind, your body, your spirit, your energy. Thinking of one thing you feel extra grateful for today. And once you've given thanks, gently making your way up to a comfortable seat, keeping the eyes closed or gaze soft. Arriving with your palms together, your heart and head bowed. Come back to the intention you set for your personal practice. And let's seal in this practice we've had together, this delicious treat for our mind and bodies, with a final breath. Inhale. And sigh it out. Bring your thumbs to your third eye. Loka samasta, Sukhi no bhavantu. Namaste.